Hello everybody. We have till now completed section A, B and C of our sample paper, and today we are going to complete section D of this sample paper, which is going to complete our entire paper. So here section D deals with question number 25 to 34. A pretty big section, and the section consisting of questions of maximum marks. So they are going to be somewhat lengthy, but if the concepts are clear to you, you will be able to do them within no time. So let's begin with the first question, question number 25 of this particular section. Okay, so dealing with trigonometric ratios, this particular question is asking you to prove that the left hand side expression is equal to the right hand side. Well, somewhat if you see on the left hand side, if I start considering my solution starting from the left hand side, that is if I consider the left hand side, which is sec theta plus tan theta minus 1 whole upon tan theta minus sec theta plus 1. Suppose I consider my left hand side, and somewhat by solving this particular left hand side, sorting it out, understanding it completely, I wish to prove it equal to the right hand side. Now understand, on the left hand side I have sec theta and tan theta, secant and tangent as my ratios. Whereas on the right hand side I have cos and sine, cosine and sine ratios. That means somehow if I wish to prove the left hand side is equal to the right hand side, I will have to bring into picture sine and cosine ratios instead of sec and tan ratios. So let's begin solving it. Do not forget the aim. The aim is to somehow solve it, further simplify our left hand side by removing sec and tan from the picture and bringing in sine and cosine in the picture. So let's start. What do you think should be my first step? Now over here you can see in the numerator there is secant, there is tangent and there is a 1. Now this 1 somehow, can it be replaced by something like secant or tangent, so that uniformly I have expressions of just secant and tangent with me? You know that 1 plus tan squared theta is sec squared theta. If this is the identity, trigonometric identity, which is clear to you, you will be able to replace 1 with sec squared theta minus tan squared theta. And sec squared theta minus tan squared theta will be what 1 will be. This particular identity is going to help me replace this one with expressions of secant and tangent. So let me do that. I have sec theta plus tan theta minus, now this one is replaced by sec square theta minus tan square theta. Okay, whole upon tan theta minus sec theta plus 1. Let's keep it till here. Further, if I wish to solve, what am I going to do? Now see, here I am going to, or this expression is basically resembling an already present identity that we know. A square minus b square, which is nothing but a plus b into a minus b. So what will this become? Sec theta plus tan theta minus sec square theta minus tan square theta will be what? Sec theta plus tan theta multiplied by sec theta minus tan theta. Okay? Because a square minus b square is a plus b into a minus b. Okay? and the denominator I am not at all disturbing. It is still equal to tan theta minus sec theta plus 1. Okay? Let's proceed further. If you carefully see, here you have sec theta plus tan theta, and inside the braces also you have sec theta plus tan theta. So let me take out sec theta plus tan theta common. Then inside the braces you're left with what? 1 minus sec theta plus tan theta. Isn't it? That is what you're left with, because I have taken out sec theta plus tan theta common. So here you're left with 1 minus sec theta minus tan theta. So it will be 1 minus sec theta plus tan theta when you open the braces. Whole upon. Still you have tan theta minus sec theta plus 1. Now here also you have tan theta minus sec theta plus 1. Here also you have tan theta minus sec theta plus 1. These things get cancelled out and you are just left with sec theta plus tan theta. The moment I come over here, now I wish to quickly replace sec by 1 upon cos and tan by sin upon cos, so that I can get my expression in terms of sin and cos. So let's do that. We were waiting desperately to do that, isn't it? The very first thing which pops up in mind when you look at the left hand side is that secant and tangent need to be converted into sin and cos. So what you can do is, right in the first go also, you can replace sec by 1 upon cos and tan by sin upon cos to make or convert the entire left hand side into terms of sin and cos. But that actually increases our very procedure of attaining the right hand side. Rather than that, by using this identity already present to connect sec and tan, we have simplified our expressions and come to this particular stage wherein now I can incorporate 1 upon cos in place of sec, and I can also incorporate sin upon cos in place of tan. And now I have expressions just in terms of sin and cos. Sort this out. This will be what? 1 plus sin theta whole upon cos theta. Do you want this? Well, I want cos theta upon 1 minus sin theta. I don't want 1 plus sin theta upon cos theta. In the denominator, I want 1 minus sin theta. So let's do something. You have this with you, right? Now you want in the denominator something like 1 minus sin theta. So let us take 1 minus sin theta in the denominator, and therefore we will have to take 1 minus sin theta in the numerator as well, right? So that these two things cancel out and I again get my original expression. So therefore, suppose I do this because I want 1 minus sin theta in my denominator. Now what is it that you get? You have 1 plus sin theta into 1 minus sin theta. A plus b into a minus b is a square minus b square. You get 1 square minus sin square theta, and in the denominator you get cos theta 1 minus sin theta. Okay? Once you have got this, the trigger point is somehow creating cos in the numerator. Now you know there is an identity, a trigonometric identity which connects sine and cos. It says sine square theta plus cos square theta is 1. The moment you know that sine square theta plus cos square theta is 1, you will be able to identify that 1 minus sine square theta is what? It will be nothing but cos square theta whole upon cos theta 1 minus sine theta. Now that you have this much, your cos theta cancels with 1 cos theta in the numerator, and therefore you are left with cos theta, a single cos theta upon 1 minus sine theta. And that is what you wanted on your very right hand side. That this particular left hand side, an expression consisting of the secant and tan ratios, should somehow be converted into the expressions of cosine and sine ratios. This question, when dealing with the trigonometric identities, has made you remind the trigonometric identity connecting sine and cos, which is sine square theta plus cos square theta is 1. It also reminded you of the basic identity a square minus b square is a plus b into a minus b, and the identity which we started with the very beginning was the identity connecting tan and sec, which was 1 plus tan square theta is sec square theta. Testing your knowledge of identities, this question was literally a cakewalk. Just if you know the identities, this question is literally nothing. You just have to incorporate them, solve them and get the right hand side. Let's now move to the next question, question number 26. What is it trying to say? There is a figure given to us. In the given figure, D, E and F are the points where the incircle, the circle inside the triangle, the incircle of the triangle ABC touches the sides BC, CA and AB respectively. Okay? That is what is given to you, that these 3 points are there where the incircle touches these 3 sides of the triangle. Okay? Then it is saying show that AF plus BD plus CE is equal to AE plus BF plus CD, and both these sums are equal to half of the perimeter of the triangle ABC. So what is it that I have to show? I have to show that AF plus BD plus CE is equal to half of perimeter of triangle ABC. What is the perimeter of triangle ABC? That means the measurement of the boundary of this triangle, which is AB plus BC plus CA. This is what I have to show in the very beginning. How will I do that? Well, over here, if you carefully understand and observe, this line AB is a tangent to this circle, because this line is meeting the circle at exactly one point F. Moreover, from the same external point A, another tangent to this circle is drawn, namely AC, which is meeting the circle at exactly one point E. And we know that two tangents drawn from the single external point to the same circle are equal in length, which means AF basically will be equal to AE. Because I know that two tangents drawn to the same circle from the same external point are equal in length. The moment you have realized this, you know that from the single external point A, AF and AE are two tangents, and so AF's length is equal to AE's length, which means AF is equal to AE. The moment we have completed this part, let's move to another point C. Now from C again there are two tangents, CE and CD. Now CE is meeting the circle at point E and CD is meeting the circle at point D. Again, because they are two tangents drawn to the same circle from the same external point, that is why their lengths will be equal. CE will be equal to CD. Further, when I have proved CE is equal to CD, now again from B, BF and BD are two tangents drawn to the same circle from the same external point B, and so their lengths will be same, whereas we mean BF will be equal to BD. Now that you know that this side is equal to this side is equal to this side, and this side is equal to this side, what is now the thing which we have to show? I have to show AF plus BD plus CE is half of the perimeter of the triangle. So let us consider perimeter of the triangle ABC. The perimeter of triangle ABC is AB plus BC plus CA. Now how can you write AB? AB can be written as AF plus FB. AF plus FB or BF, right? Then you have BC. BC can be written as BD plus DC. Plus. Then you have CA. CA can be written as CE plus AE. You have this. Now that you have this particular thing with you, you have to use your relations. Don't forget what you have to show. You have to show AF plus BD plus CE is half of the perimeter. So you want AF to stay, you want BD to stay, and you want CE to stay. Now you know AF is equal to AE, so I am going to replace AE by AF. I am going to keep AF as it is, and I am going to replace AE by AF because they both are equal. Then I know CE is equal to CD, and I want what to stay? If CE, my CE is equal to CD, and I want CE to stay, therefore I am going to keep CE as it is, and my CD will be replaced by CE. Further, BF is equal to BD, and I want my BD to stay, so I am going to keep BD as it is, and my BF will be replaced by BD. Now after doing all these replacements, I am going to get perimeter of triangle ABC this will turn out to be what? AF plus AF, which means twice of AF, plus BD. Now BF will be replaced by BD, okay? So BD plus BD will be twice of BD. Then you will have CD replaced by CE, so you will have CE plus CE, which is twice of CE. And this further can be written as what? What can it be written as? This further can be written as twice of AF plus BD plus CE. Or I can say that this entire thing, that AF plus BD plus CE is half of perimeter of triangle ABC. Wasn't this the only thing which we wish to prove? We had to show AF plus BD plus CE is half of perimeter. So I have shown AF plus BD plus CE is half of perimeter. Once we are done with this, there is another part to it. Not just I have to show AF plus BD plus CE is half of the perimeter. Instead, I also have to show AE plus BF plus CD. Now, if I have to show what? Having shown this, if the next thing that I have to show is that AE plus BF plus CD is half of the perimeter of the triangle ABC, how am I going to proceed? Till here, you are going to do the exact same thing. Perimeter of triangle ABC is all of this, but then as perimeter of triangle ABC is, now see what is it that we want to stay. I want AE to stay and I know AE is equal to AF. So I am going to keep AE as it is plus. This AE has been covered, but this AF will be replaced by AE. Okay? After that, I want BF to stay. So now, one BF is already there. It is going to remain what it is. I am not going to disturb this BF. But because my BF is equal to BD, I am going to replace this BD by BF. Plus, then I want CD to stay. So let me keep CD as it is and replace CE by CD because they both are equal. This is again going to lead to twice of AE plus BF plus CD, resulting in AE plus BF plus CD is half of perimeter of the triangle ABC. That's how simple this question was. Nothing, completely nothing in the entire question. The only thing you have to understand is that when a tangent or two tangents are drawn from the same external point to the same circle, what we obtain is that the lengths of those tangents are exactly the same. This is the concept which was used in order to deal with this question so that the smaller parts of the sides came out to be equal to each other, and that happened to be the very thing used in our solution. We just used those parts of the solution and we had obtained the entire answer. Just this part, that this was equal to this came out to be equal to this, and this came out to be equal to this by that very tangent rule. We understood that, incorporated it in the very expressions which were there in the solution and got our complete answer. Okay? Now that we have done this particular 26th question, we have to now start understanding what happens the case with the next 27th question. Let's move on to the next question, question number 27. What is this question trying to say? Take a look at it. From a point on the ground 60 meters away from the foot of a tower, the angle of elevation of the top of the tower is 30 degrees. The angle of elevation to the top of a water tank on the top of the tower is 45 degrees. Find the height of the tower and the depth of the tank. Now this question is somehow giving you a hint of a situation which can be drawn in your notebooks with the help of a pen or a pencil. Why don't you try drawing the situation which is being literally exhibited in the entire question, and then I am going to show you how to solve after having that diagram in your notebooks. So guys, could you decode the diagram which the question is asking you to draw? Let us draw it together and interpret the entire question in the form of a realistic situation. It is saying from a point on the ground 60 meters away from the foot of a tower. So there is first of all a tower Suppose this is the tower and obviously then this is the ground. Okay, this is your tower and this is your ground. It is saying from a point on the ground 60 meters away from the foot of the tower. Now this is the foot of the tower, move 60 meters away. Suppose this is your point A, then from this point O to point A, length is 60 meters. So from the foot of the perpendicular or from the foot of this tower, 60 meters away you move, from that point what happens? The angle of elevation of the top of the tower is 30 degrees. So from here the angle of elevation of the top of the tower is how many degrees? It is 30 degrees. Fine. Once you have this, let's see what the question further says. The angle of elevation from the same point, the angle of elevation to the top of a water tank on the top of a tower. So this tower has a water tank above itself. Now suppose this is the height of that water tank or the depth of that water tank. It's a water tank which has a certain depth. Now that is kept over the tower. Now this was the highest point of the tower. Over it the water tank is kept. Now this is the height of the water tank or the depth of the water tank. Now it is saying the angle of elevation to the top of the water tank. So from this point I will be moving to the top of the water tank. This angle of elevation is given to be 45 degrees. Understand what all was the situation. Suppose this is M, this is B, and that is all the marking of the points. It was given that you have a tower. From here the tower starts and goes on till here. This is the ground. 60 meters away from the ground you reach to this point. Now from this point the angle of elevation to the top of the tower is 30 degrees. Okay. Now this is the highest point of the tower over which the water tank is kept, and from the same point the angle of elevation to the top of the water tank is 45 degrees. And then the question is, find the height of the tower. Now from here the tower is starting, so this is till the ground level is the height of your tower and the depth of the water tank. So this completely from B to M is your depth of the water tank. I have to find height H and depth D. How to find these two quantities? Now over here, if you have the tower which is there inscribed inside the ground, this tower basically is nothing but acting as a perpendicular to this horizontal line. The moment I am interpreting tower to the ground as perpendicular to the horizontal line, I will be able to get the idea that this is nothing but right angled triangle. So triangle MOA is a right triangle. The moment I know that this is a right triangle, I know the length of the base of this right triangle, and I want to know the length of the perpendicular of this right triangle corresponding to the angle 30 degrees sitting as an acute angle in this right triangle. So corresponding to the angle 30 degrees, which is that trigonometric ratio which connects base to the perpendicular. The only trigonometric ratio which connects base to the perpendicular is either tan or cot. Let's work with tan. In this right triangle, I have tan of 30 degrees will be what? If I work with tan ratio in this right triangle, tan 30 will be perpendicular upon the base. So perpendicular is H and base is having 60 meters as its length. This is H meters and this is 60 meters. What is tan 30? Tan 30 is nothing but 1 by root 3. 1 by root 3 is h upon 60, which means 60 upon root 3 is h. The moment you have 60 upon root 3 is h, as I told you, you do not leave root expressions in the denominator. So what I'm going to do is 60 into root 3 upon root 3 into root 3 is your h. The moment you have this, you are left with 60 root 3 upon 3, which makes it 20 root 3, which is 20 into 1.732, which eventually gives you 34.64 meters as your height of the tower. That means you have obtained that this height, MO, is your height of the tower, which is 34.64 meters. Once you have obtained the height, the first part is accomplished. Let's see what the second part is. The second part is give me the depth, so I wish to find this D. Now this D is somewhere lying as a portion of one of the sides of the bigger right triangle, which is BOA. So let's work with this right angle triangle. In triangle BOA, again because it is a right triangle, corresponding to the acute angle 45 degrees, you are also given the very length of the base of this triangle, and you do not know the height of this triangle, right? Because this D is one of the portion of the heights of the triangle, let's see what is the height of this particular triangle. For that, which is that trigonometric ratio which is going to connect base to the height? Again tan corresponding to the angle 45 degrees now, because we are working with triangle BOA. So I am going to say tan 45 will be equal to this entire height, which is OB, whole upon the base, which is 60. Understood? Now tan 45 is 1, you get 1 is equal to OB upon 60 meters, or you have OB is equal to 60 meters. You have OB is equal to 60 meters. See what you have. This entire thing is equal to 60 meters. Whereas from M to O, this H you have as 34.64 meters. Can't you not then find out the length of MB, which is nothing but your depth D? Of course you can. Therefore, what will be the length of D, which is BM? It will be OB, this entire OB minus OM. Now, OB is given to be 60 meters and your OM is what? OM is given to be this. OM is 34.64 meters as we had calculated through this entire process. And so this gives you what? This subtraction will give you 25.36 meters as the depth of the tank. The moment you have this, you have 25.36 as the value of your D. You have accomplished solving the second part as well. Understood? So, like this, by considering two right angled triangles one by one, we were able to solve the first and the second part. We could find out the height of the tower, and also we could find out the depth of the water tank. Pretty easy question, not at all too lengthy also, but the only thing is you should be able to interpret the question in the form of this diagram. Because until and unless you do not draw the diagram, you won't be able to understand that trigonometry is coming into picture and helping you out get the solution of this particular question. Only when you draw the diagram, you see that there are right angle triangles coming in picture and therefore helping you get the solution of this question. Let's now proceed to the next question. This is question number 28. Question number 28 is saying there is a certain fraction, I don't know what that fraction is. What are fractions? Some real number upon some other real number. So, the denominator of a fraction is 1 more than twice the numerator of that fraction. So, let's interpret this much situation. Let the numerator of the fraction be equal to x. Suppose x is the numerator of that fraction lying above in the fraction. If x is the numerator, what is the denominator? Then denominator of the same fraction is what? The denominator is 1 more than twice the numerator. So, twice the numerator means 2 times x, 1 more than twice the numerator. This is what is the denominator of the fraction. And therefore, what is the fraction? The fraction is numerator upon the denominator. Understood? Now that we have obtained our very fraction, let's see what the question says further. It says if the sum of the fraction and its reciprocal is this much. So, sum of the fraction, so this is my fraction. Sum of the fraction with its reciprocal, make the denominator the numerator and numerator the denominator. Suppose this is equal to what? 2 times 16 upon 21. And this is going to eventually give you 21 into 2 plus 16, which is going to give you 58 upon 21. Okay? Once you have accomplished this, what do you think next we should do? The question is saying if this is the scenario with the fraction, then find the actual fraction. Now understand, if only I am able to find x, that means if only I am able to find the numerator of this fraction, I will have my denominator as well, because the denominator is also dependent upon x. So, if I just focus my attention on finding x, I am going to find my entire fraction. The moment I have x, I also have 1 plus 2x. Therefore, I have x upon 1 plus 2, x upon 1 plus 2x. That means I have my fraction. So, let's find out the value of x and hence find out the value of fraction. Over here, what is it that you are going to obtain? You are going to take LCM as x into 1 plus 2x. This is going to be x square plus 1 plus 2x whole square, which is equal to 58 upon 21. Once you have this, let's see what happens further. Over here you have x square plus 1 square, which is 1, plus 2x whole square, which is 4x square, plus twice of 2x into 1, which makes it 4x. This thing whole upon x square plus 2x square. This is equal to what? 58 upon 21. Once you have this, let us cross multiply. So, you have 21x square plus 21. What is 4 into 21? 84x square plus 84x. This is what you have. This is equal to 58 x square plus what is 58 into 2? 116x square, right? Because 8 into 2 is 16, 5 into 2 is 11, and that is what you have. Yeah, 5 into 2 is 10 plus 1, 11. That means you have 58x square plus 116x square, and here you have 21x square plus 21 plus 84x square plus 84x. Just keep tallying the entire calculation. It's simple calculations and nothing else. So over here, just bring everything on the left hand side. You have 21x square minus 58x square plus 84x square minus 116x square. Over here you had x plus 2x square. So over here you will not have x square, you will have x plus 2x square. So you will just have 58x, and that's it. So this will be 58x. So 58x, you have brought this side, so it became minus 58x minus 116x square plus 84x square. You have written this, plus 84x plus 21. So 21x square plus 84x square minus 116x square is going to deliver you with minus 11x square. Then you have minus 58x plus 84x is going to deliver you with plus 26x and plus 21 as it is. Now what is it that you can do? Over here I can just write this as 11x square minus 26x minus 21 is 0, right? So that I have a positive coefficient here of x square. Now I can, because this is nothing but a quadratic equation, I can work on breaking the middle term. The moment I break the middle term, my question will be sorted out even further. So let's see if you can break the middle term. This becomes 11x square minus 33x plus 7x minus 21 is 0. Because minus 33 plus 7 is going to give you minus 26, and their product is going to give you what you want. So this is how the middle term will be broken. You will have 11x common. You have x minus 3 plus 7, x minus 3. Collect the like factors. You have x minus 3, 11x plus 7 is 0, and the moment you have this much with you, what is the next thing that you can do? The moment you have this much, that means what all is it that you have? You have 11 minus 3 into 11x plus 7 equals 0. That means either this is 0 or this is 0. X minus 3 is 0 means x is 3, or 11x plus 7 equals 0 means x is minus 7 by 11. So x is either that or that. That means x is either 3 or minus 7 by 11. The moment you have this, come back to your fraction. Our aim was to find out the values of x, because the moment you have x, you have your fraction. So if x is equal to 3, out of the two values of x, if x is equal to 3, my fraction is what? My fraction is 3 upon 1 plus 2 into 3, which is 3 upon 7. This is what your fraction be if your x is equal to 3. And if x is equal to minus 7 by 11, then what will be your fraction? It will be, in that case, fraction is equal to x whole upon 1 plus twice of x. So 1 plus twice of 7 by 11. This is going to deliver to you minus 7 whole upon 11 minus 14. And so you are going to have 7 upon 3 as your very fraction. But because I am interested in proper fractions, this is going to give you a mixed fraction, and therefore I am not going to accept it as my answer. My answer will be the fraction which is proper, 3 upon 7. And therefore, the value of x which gives me the correct fraction is x equals 3, and so the answer will be 3 upon 7 is my correct fraction which will satisfy all of this criterias and which has come as a result of x equals 3. This simple algebraic question just involving solution, solving part is a lot over here. So you cannot afford to do any mistake in the solving part, otherwise you are going to land up at getting wrong values of x, which is eventually not going to give you the correct final answer. So practice such questions very nicely. They are just based on accuracy. Okay? Note this down carefully and then we are going to proceed with the next question. So students, let's now proceed to the next question. It's already been there presented before you. Take a look at it. Try to understand what you have to do and start at least doing it. What is the question demanding? Well, a simple question, direct question. It is giving you the data, giving you the classes and frequencies corresponding to each class and asking you to find the median of the following data. So what is the formula of the median? Well, in order to find the median, you should have a median class. What you do is you collect the lower limit of that median class, and then what you do? You add it with something and multiply it with the size of the median class. What is it that you add with? Well, you add with n by 2 minus capital F whole upon small f, where this small f is the frequency of the median class. Capital F is what? Capital F is the cumulative frequency of the preceding class from the median class, and capital N is nothing but the sum of all these frequencies. So once we have understood what all the median requires in order to get calculated, let us find all of these. First thing, let's focus on finding capital N. But capital N will be found only when you will have your entire data with you properly. Now over here you have your class, then you are given your frequencies. There is another column which we always make, which is cumulative frequency. So let's write what all are the classes: 0 to 10, then 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 60 to 70, 70 to 80, 80 to 90 and 90 to 100. Now that you have this 90 to 100 class lying right at the end, it's basically you are going to find out that it's not getting required anywhere. Now over here 0 to 10 has frequency what? So 0 to 10 has frequency as 5. So let's write 5. Then 10 to 20 has frequency 3. Then you have 4 having the frequency of this class 20 to 30. This is the frequency of 10 to 20 and this is the frequency of 0 to 10. Then what is the frequency of 30 to 40? 30 to 40 frequency is 3. Then the frequency of 40 to 50 is again 3. Then 50 to 60 it's 4. Frequency of 60 to 70 is 7. Frequency of 70 to 80 is 9. Frequency of 80 to 90 is 7. And you have frequency of 90 to 100 as 8. Once you have this with you, how do you calculate the cumulative frequency? 5, keep it as it is. Then 5 plus 3 is going to be 8. Then 8 plus 4 is going to give you 12. 12 plus 3 will give you 15. 15 plus 3 will give you 18. 18 plus 4 will going to give you 22. 22 plus 7 is going to give you 29. 29 plus 9 is going to give you 38. 38 plus 7 is going to give you 45. And 45 plus 8 is going to give you 53. This is how you calculate your cumulative frequency column. The moment you have this, what is the next step? As I told you, I am focusing on finding my capital N. So capital N is nothing but the sum of all these frequencies. What will be the sum of all these frequencies? 5 plus 3 plus 4 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 7 plus 9 plus 7 plus 8. That is going to give you nothing but 53. So your capital N is 53, which implies that your N by 2 is 53 by 2, which is nothing but 26.5. That means out of everything you have your N by 2 with you. Now, the moment you have N by 2, what do? You proceed to finding the median class. Now, the question is, the cumulative frequency just greater than 26.5 is what? What is the cumulative frequency just greater than 26.5? Well, it is just greater than 26.5 is 29. So that is 29, which is corresponding to the class. Which is the class it is corresponding to? The class it is corresponding to is 60 to 70. And thus, 60 to 70 is the median class. You have your median class found with you, which is 60 to 70. The moment you have your median class, that means you have your small l. Your small l is the lower limit of this median class, which is 60. After that, you have your small f, which is the frequency of this median class, which is nothing but 7. You can check 60 to 70, the frequency is 7. So you have small f to be equal to 7. You also have your small h, which is the size of that median class. Size of every class is 10, and so the size of the median class denoted by small h is also 10. The only thing left is capital F, and as I told you, capital F is nothing but the cumulative frequency of just the preceding class than the median class. So this is your median class, 60 to 70. The class just preceding to it is 50 to 60, and its cumulative frequency is 22. So your capital F is nothing but 22. And so the moment you incorporate your formula over here, you get your median, which will be what? It will be nothing but L multiplied by n by 2, n by 2 is 26.5, minus capital F is 22, whole upon small f is 7 multiplied by 10, and you are going to get 66.43 as your respective median. That is how you calculate the median. The only thing you required was this very formula to calculate the median. And then our quest was to just find out the value of each of these unknowns. We proceeded in that direction. Because cumulative frequency was needed, we made a separate column of cumulative frequency, used the frequency and the cumulative frequency columns in order to find out our median. That's how we complete this particular question, a completely direct question based upon finding median. Note it down and then we'll proceed to the next question. Okay friends, now take a look at the 30th question in the league, which is talking something about speed and distance. Take a look, try and understand what it is trying to speak about, and then we are going to discuss it further. Okay, so the question says there is a train which is running at 418 kilometers at a uniform speed. So right now the speed is not given to you, you're only given the distance which is covered by this train. 418 kilometers is the distance covered by the train at a uniform speed. I don't know what that speed is. If the speed had been 18 kilometers per hour less than what it was originally, it would have taken 8 hours more for the same journey. Okay? If the speed would have been 16 kilometers per hour less, the time would have been 8 hours more. Find the speed of the train. Now, what is the original speed of the train? How am I going to start my solution? Let the original speed of the train be x kilometers per hour. If this is the speed of the train, distance I know is 418 kilometers. With this original speed and this distance, how much time is covered? Time that is taken with this speed and this distance is 418 upon x. Why? Because speed is equal to distance upon time, and therefore time is equal to distance upon speed. So, my time is equal to distance upon speed, these many hours. That means with the original speed x, this much distance will be covered in 418 upon x hours. Once this is something known to me, let's proceed with what the question says. It says if the speed is 16 kilometers less than the original speed. So, if speed is 16 kilometers less than the original speed. So, original speed was x, 16 kilometers less than the original speed. If this is my new speed, the same distance will be covered in how much time? The same distance will be covered in 418 upon x minus 16 hours this time. Okay? So, this is the time which is taken to cover 418 kilometers when the speed is original minus 16, and this is the time which is taken to cover 418 kilometers when the speed is x kilometers per hour. The question is saying that if your speed is x minus 16, then the time is 8 hours more than the original time. The time taken when the speed was x minus 16 is 418 upon x minus 16. The question is saying that this time is 8 hours more than the original time, which is 418 upon x. If this is the relationship between the times when the speeds were x and x minus 16, find out the speed or find out the value of x in this matter, because x is representing my speed. How am I going to solve this? Just solve this and you get the value of x from here. What do? You can say 418 upon x minus 16 minus 418 upon x. This is equal to 8, right? Now what can you do is you can find out the LCM. It is x into x minus 16. From here you have 418 into x minus 418x plus 16 into 418, which is 6688, which is equal to 8. The moment you have this, what happens next? These both quantities, they get cancelled. You are left with 6688 is equal to 8x square minus 8x into 16. What is 16 into 8? 128x. Understood? This is what you are going to have over here, and this is going to give you a quadratic equation which will be 8x square minus 128x minus 6688 equals 0. The moment you have this, you know that you can very well take out 8 common. The moment you take out 8 common, what are you left with? You're left with x square minus 16x minus, when you take out 8 common, you're left with 836 equals 0. Understood? The moment you have from here to here, what is it that you get? From here to here, when you solve, you take out 8 common. This is what you have, and this leads you to get x square minus 16x minus 836 is 0. And over here, what happens eventually is, this is your quadratic equation waiting to be broken with the middle term. So over here, when you break the middle term, how does it get broken? X square minus 38x plus 22x minus 836 is your 0. Because what is minus 38 plus 22? It is nothing but your minus 16, and when you multiply both of them, you get minus 836. And therefore, you have x minus 38 plus 22, x minus 38 is 0, which eventually gives you x minus 38 into x plus 22 is 0, which implies x is 38 or x is minus 22. Now, if suppose your x is minus 22, I am trying to say that the speed of the train is minus 22. How can the speed be negative? And that is why I cannot take x equals minus 22 as my answer. Instead, I am going to take x equals 38 as my answer. And therefore, my speed, the original speed is 38 kilometers per hour. Understood? Very basic question, nothing in here. The only task was to reduce the entire situation into a quadratic equation. The moment you have a quadratic equation with you, the next task was to just boil it down to breaking the middle term, which eventually led you to the solution of the question, and we obtained that our speed was coming out to be 38 kilometers per hour. Nothing in the question, just the task of breaking the middle term. First you have to interpret the question and then solve the task of breaking the middle term in a quadratic equation. Now let us proceed with the next question, which is question number 31. Let's see what this question is trying to say. This is saying there is a container shaped like a right circular cylinder with diameter D equal to 12 centimeters and height is equal to 15 centimeters, and that is full of ice cream. So I have a right circular cylinder. This is my right circular cylinder with the height of the cylinder is given to me as 15 centimeters and the radius of this, or the base of the cylinder, radius is given because the diameter is given to be 12 centimeters and therefore the radius is half of 12, which is 6 centimeters. Okay? So you have the height and you have the radius. And this entire circular cylinder is filled with ice cream. That means how much is the space inside this right circular cylinder inside which there is completely ice cream kept? That means the entire volume of this right circular cylinder is the amount of ice cream which is kept in the entire cylinder. So what is the volume? Volume of this right circular cylinder whatever the volume is, that is the total amount of ice cream which is kept inside this right circular cylinder, right? What is the volume of the right circular cylinder? It is pi r square h. You know already the formula. So over here you have pi. What is your r square? It is 6 square, which is 36, multiplied by your height, which is 15, and so you get 540 pi centimeter cube. This happens to be the volume of this right circular cylinder, or the all amount of ice cream which is kept inside this right circular cylinder is equal to the volume of this right circular cylinder. Because it is saying that the entire right circular cylinder is full. It is filled with ice cream. Now what happens is the same ice cream, how much ice cream is there? This much ice cream is there inside the right circular cylinder. So all this ice cream is to be filled into 10 equal cones having a hemispherical shape on the top. So there are cones having a hemispherical shape on the top. These are 10 in number, and the entire ice cream, that means this much, is to be filled in these 10 cones. And it has to be completely filled into these 10 cones. So some amount in the first cone, some amount in the second cone, some amount in the third cone, and so on till some amount in the 10th cone, and that should exhaust the availability of ice cream with you. Completely your entire ice cream should be put inside all these 10 cones, so that when you take all the ice cream kept in the 10 cones together, you get the entire ice cream in the cylinder. That is what is the concept. Further, the question is saying if the height of the cone is 4 times its radius. So suppose the radius is given to be r, and this is the height of the cone, which is 4 times the radius. Okay? This is the radius of the base, and this height is 4 times the radius. What is the question saying? Find the height of the cone. I wish to find the height, which is 4r. For that I will have to find r because height is dependent upon r. Now understand one thing very carefully. I have 10 cones like this in which ice creams are kept. Now, and all of them are of equal size. All of them are exactly of equal size. So, whatever amount of ice cream is kept inside one cone, the same amount of ice cream is kept in the other cone. And how much ice cream is kept in one cone depends on the volume of that cone or volume of this entire figure. What will be the volume of this entire figure? Well, that depends upon the volume of the cone and the volume of this hemispherical shape above the cone. And therefore, volume of one cone with hemispherical shape on the top is what? That means the entire space which is present in the cone will be filled with ice cream. The space present is dependent upon the volume of the cone which is there. What is the volume of the cone? 1 by 3 pi r square h plus some more space is provided by the hemispherical shape on the top. What is the volume of a hemisphere with a certain radius r? Well, the volume of a sphere is 4 by 3 pi r cube, and therefore volume of the hemisphere is half of it, which makes it 2 by 3 pi r cube. Isn't it? This is what is the volume, and that means the volume of one cone is this entire volume. This is the entire space which is present in one cone, and therefore this is the amount of ice cream which will be filled in one cone. Let's sort this out. The height of the cone is what? It is 4 times r. So this becomes, height gets removed, this becomes 4 times r. And what is it that you get? You can take out 1 by 3 pi common. You have 4r cube plus 2r cube. And therefore you get 4 plus 2, 6r cube, which gives you 2r cube. This is the amount of ice cream. I should write, this is centimeters cube. This is the amount of ice cream which can be kept in one cone. And the question is saying that the entire ice cream which is kept in the cylinder is distributed equally in these equal sized cones, and then it is exhausted. That means when I add the ice creams of all the 10 cones, I get the ice cream of this ice cream contained in this entire right circular cylinder. That means whatever is the ice cream contained in the right circular cylinder, the amount of ice cream contained in the right circular cylinder, that same is the amount of ice cream which is contained in all the 10 cones when added together. That means how much is the ice cream contained in the right circular cylinder? It is equal to the volume, the space of the right circular cylinder inside it. So what is the volume? It is 540 pi centimeter cube. This entire ice cream is equal to ice cream contained in one cone plus ice cream contained in the second cone plus ice cream contained in the third cone, and so on till ice cream contained in the 10th cone. But all these 10 cones are of equal sizes, and all of them contain equal amount of ice cream because they are of equal sizes, so their volumes are exactly the same. Volume of each cone is this. That means I will have to add 2r cube plus 2r cube plus 2r cube and so on 10 times, which is going to make it 10 times 2r cube. This is what is the scenario you have to interpret, that the volume of the entire right circular cylinder will be equal to the volume of all the cones added together. And this is what is going to give you such a relation, which eventually becomes 540 pi is equal to, will pi be here as well? Yes, of course, we have missed a pi over here. This is 2 pi r cube. So over here also there will be a pi present. So this will be 540 pi is equal to 20 pi r cube which will make it what? Pi and pi, they're going to get cancelled. This 0, and therefore you're left with 54 upon 2 is r cube, which gives you r cube is 27. What is that positive number whose cube is 27? 3, and therefore r will be equal to 3. You have found r successfully, which is the radius of the cone. The moment you have your r, 4r will be 4 into 3, which is 12 centimeters. And that is what is your height of this right circular cone with a hemisphere on the top. The height is 12 centimeters, the radius is 3 centimeters. And that completes my entire solution. That's how you have to interpret the entire situation mathematically, understand the association between the cone with the hemisphere on the top and this right circular cylinder, establish such a relation, and then getting the answer by just solving this will be a cakewalk for you. It's not at all difficult. So understand what I have done, and then we are going to proceed for the next question. Let us begin discussing the next question. Just take a look at it. What is it trying to speak about? Okay, so the question is saying that for a following system of equations, determine the value of k for which the given system has no solution. Now, these two equations are representing two lines. When I am saying that these two equations, for simultaneous system of these two linear equations, there is no solution present, that means they do not intersect anywhere. They are parallel lines. I want such a value of k such that when I incorporate that value over here, this system of simultaneous two linear equations comes out to be an inconsistent system of equations. That means there is no solution. That means these two lines are parallel lines. They are not coincident lines. They are not lying one upon the other, which is also one form of parallel lines, but they are not lying one upon the other because that would have landed up giving you infinitely many solutions. Over here, I want to prove that when I incorporate that answer value of k over here, the system of equations comes out to be inconsistent. It has no solution, which means these two lines are parallel lines and not coincident lines. What is the rule for having no solution? Now, this particular form resembles which form? This is of the form, which form? a1x plus b1y plus c1 is 0 and a2x plus b2y plus c2 is 0. The moment you have this, you know this system of equations has no solution only when a1 upon a2 is equal to b1 upon b2 but is not equal to c1 upon c2, where you know what is a1, b1, c1 and a2, b2, c2. Over here, this entire concept we have to apply in this question. This resembles the form of these two equations, where what is your a1? a1 is 3. What is your b1? b1 is minus 4. What is your c1? c1 is 7. Then next, what is your a2? a2 is your k. What is your b2? b2 is your 3. And what is C2? C2 is minus 5. If this system of equations given in the question has no solution, that means I should have A1 upon A2 equals B1 upon B2 is not equal to C1 upon C2. Let's see if this relation holds or not. Here, B1 upon B2 will be what? B1 is minus 4 and B2 is 3. So, B1 upon B2 is minus 4 by 3. C1 upon C2 will be what? It will be 7 upon minus 5. So, clearly, B1 upon B2 is not equal to C1 upon C2. And therefore, the system has no solution. But the thing is that this system has no solution also has a part that A1 upon A2 is equal to B1 upon B2. This will be true because the system has no solution. Therefore, A1 upon A2 will be equal to B1 upon B2 and B1 upon B2 will not be equal to C1 upon C2. So, yes, B1 upon B2 is not equal to C1 upon C2 because the system has no solution. But because A1 upon A2 is equal to B1 upon B2, what does this imply? What is your A1? A1 is 3. What is your A2? A2 is K. What is your B1? B1 is minus 4. And what is your B2? B2 is 3. And this implies you get 9 divided by minus 4 is your K, or I can say my K is minus 9 by 4, such that when this K is incorporated in this second equation, I get system of simultaneous two linear equations which is inconsistent. That means it has no solution. Or in simple language, I can say when I incorporate that value minus 9 by 4 over here in place of K, I get equation of two lines which when you draw graphically are going to come as parallel lines. They are not going to intersect each other at any point, and that is why there will be no common point coming at both the lines, and that is why there will be no solution to this system of equations. This question fairly what? I should say completely a drastically easy question, because over here the only concept which was used was the concept of inconsistent solution, when there is absolutely no solution, and that comes up with the criteria of A1 upon A2 is equal to B1 upon B2 but not equal to C1 upon C2. Using that, you can very easily combat and tackle such questions. Let's move to the next question, question number 33. It is saying if A, B and C are the vertices of a triangle ABC. So, I have a certain triangle ABC. Suppose this is A, this is B and this is C. A is 5 comma minus 1, or rather let's do one thing, let's just make the coordinate plane so that we can mark the points accurately, like approximately accurately. Okay, so suppose this is my coordinate plane. I have point A as 5 comma minus 1. So here somewhere is 5, here suppose you get your minus 1. So this is your point A. After that you have point B as minus 3 comma minus 2. So somewhere here is minus 3, somewhere here is minus 2. So this is your point minus 3 minus 2. After this you have C to be minus 1 comma 8. So this is your minus 1 comma 8 is somewhere here. So what is it that you get? This is somewhere your point C minus 1 comma 8. And so when you adjoin them, such is the triangle that you are getting in the picture. If this is your triangle ABC approximately, the question is find the length of the median through A and the coordinates of the centroid. So over now, in this particular triangle, I am interested in finding the median through A, the length of the median through A. What is the median through A? From this vertex A, a line which is drawn intersecting the opposite side at the midpoint. That line is called the median through the vertex A. That means if I have drawn this line from A intersecting the opposite side BC at the midpoint D, then this line is my median. And therefore, I can similarly draw medians from C and B as well, and I am going to get a point where all these three medians meet. That point I am going to denote by G, and that is basically my centroid. So I am supposed to find the coordinates of that centroid as well and the length of the median. What is it that I am going to do now? First of all, just see. Over here, this D is the midpoint of BC. So by using the midpoint formula, can you find out the coordinates of D? Well, obviously BC, this line, if I separately draw, this is B and this is C. The coordinates of B are -3, -2. And the coordinates of C are -1, 8. Here somewhere right in the middle is point D. I don't know what its coordinates are, x1, y1 for example. Now I know by section formula, I can find out the coordinates of the midpoint of the line segment joining 2 points. The xth coordinate will be the sum of the x coordinates divided by 2. So -3, -1, which is -4 by 2, which is -2. And the yth coordinate will be sum of the y coordinates divided by 2. So -2 plus 8, which gives you 8 minus 2, that is 6 divided by 2, which gives you 3. And therefore, this point comes out to be -2, 3. The moment you have this D point, you know that this centroid divides the median into the ratio 2:1. The moment you have this, why am I telling this to you is that this is your point A, this is your point D. Now you know the coordinates of the vertex A, 5, -1, and you know the coordinates of point D, -2, 3. And you know there is some point G over here, which is nothing but the centroid, and so it divides this line segment in the ratio 2:1. The moment you know that this divides the line segment in the ratio 2:1, isn't it something very easy to find the coordinates of this point G? By the section formula, treat this as M1, treat this as M2. So what happens to be my coordinates of point G? M1 into -2, that means 2 into -2, which is -4. M1 x2 plus M2 x1, 1 into 5, whole upon M1 plus M2. So you get 5 minus 4, which is 1, 1 upon 3. And on the other hand, the yth coordinate will be M1 into 3. So 2 into 3, which is 6. M1 y2 plus M2 y1, which is -1, whole upon M1 plus M2, which is 3. The moment you have this, you have 5 by 3 as your yth coordinate, and therefore the centroid G is coming out to be 1 by 3, 5 by 3. That means the moment you have found the value of this midpoint, with the help of these 2 points you have found D, with the help of D and A you have found G, and now you wish to find the length of this median through A, which is AD. That is what is your next task. Your task is to find out the length of median, which is AD. You have the coordinates of A, you have the coordinates of D, and therefore you can very easily find out the length of AD. How? By the distance formula. Yes, if you wish to find out the length of AD, the coordinates of A are 5, -1, and the coordinates of D are -2, 3. Just treat this as x1, y1 and treat this as x2, y2. Okay? So what is the length of this line segment AB, AD, length of AD, which is nothing but the median, and therefore length of median is nothing but the distance between A and D measured by the distance formula, which is under root x2 minus x1 whole square. So -2 minus 5 whole square plus y2 minus y1. So 3 minus -1 whole square, which gives you what? This gives you under root -7 square plus 16, or you get 49 plus 16, which eventually gives you, or I should write above, this eventually gives you under root 65, which gives you 8.06 units. That means over here, the moment you have this, you can eventually land yourself to this step and then find out the root. It comes out to be 8.06 units. Very easy. We just had A and D. We found out the distance between A and D, which happened to be the length of the line segment AD, but AD is nothing but the median, and so therefore you have the length of your median. Okay? That is how interesting this question was. Indirectly, it was making us find out so many things. It did not ask directly for D, but we had to find out D in order to find G, and then in order to find the entire length of this median. So by using midpoint formula, we found D. After that, by using section formula, we found G, and by using the fact that the centroid divides the median in the ratio 2:1. And then by using the distance formula, we found the length of this median D. Write down all the concepts used in this question, understand it, and then be prepared for the last question. Okay friends, now take a look at the very last question and try to understand and decode what it is trying to say exactly. What is the question trying to say? It is saying if alpha and beta are zeros of this quadratic polynomial. So there is a quadratic polynomial, fx is equal to 3x square minus 4x plus 1, such that alpha and beta are roots of this polynomial f. Find a quadratic polynomial whose zeros are alpha square by beta and beta square by alpha, where alpha and beta are roots of this polynomial. Again, a very interesting question. Right now, the moment you see polynomials, there are certain things which should pop up in your mind. What are they? You know you can find out the sum of the roots and you can find out the product of the roots. Right now, if alpha and beta are the roots of the polynomial f, sum of the roots is minus b by a, where b is the coefficient of x and a is the coefficient of x square. So sum of the roots, which is alpha plus beta in this case, is minus b by a. So minus of, this is your b, this 3 is your a, and this 1 is your c. Comparing it to the general form of a quadratic polynomial, this is what a, b and c are. So sum of the roots is minus b by a, which is minus of minus 4 by 3, which makes it 4 by 3. And also we can find out the product of the roots, which is alpha into beta, in this case because alpha and beta are the roots, which is equal to c by a. Now c is 1, so c by a becomes 1 by 3. That means you have the sum of the roots of f and the product of the roots of f. The question is, find out a quadratic polynomial with these roots. Now you know that the general form of a quadratic polynomial looks like what? When you know the roots of a quadratic polynomial, the look of the quadratic polynomial is what? Some constant times x square minus sx plus p. Where what is your s? S is the sum of the roots and p represents the product of the roots. Right now we have an unknown polynomial with its roots known. That means that polynomial is going to look something like this. Let us find out what s is and what p is. If s represents the sum of the roots of the unknown polynomial, s is equal to sum of its roots, which is alpha square by beta plus beta square by alpha. So sum is alpha square by beta plus beta square by alpha, which brings what? You get alpha beta as your LCM, and you have alpha cube plus beta cube, which gives you what? Now a cube plus b cube is nothing but a plus b whole cube minus 3ab a plus b whole upon alpha into beta. Do not forget, alpha and beta are the roots of this polynomial, whereas alpha square by beta and beta square by alpha are the roots of unknown polynomial. So over here, if I am getting a simplified expressions in the form of alpha plus beta and alpha into beta, this is representing the sum of the roots of this polynomial. Alpha plus beta you know is 4 by 3. And alpha into beta is again representing the product of the roots of this polynomial, which is 1 by 3. And so this happens to be alpha plus beta is what? 4 by 3. So you get 4 by 3 whole cube. 4 cube gives you 64. 3 cube gives you 27 minus 3 into 1 by 3 into 4 by 3 whole upon 1 by 3, and that results you in 28 by 9, which is your sum of the roots of unknown polynomial. What happens to the product of the roots of unknown polynomial? What are the product? Alpha squared by beta multiplied by beta squared by alpha, where alpha and beta are the roots of the known polynomial f. What happens when you simplify this? This alpha cancels one alpha, beta cancels one beta. You are left with alpha into beta, and you know alpha into beta is 1 by 3. That means with the help of roots of f or sum of roots and product of roots of f, I have found out the sum of roots and product of roots of the unknown polynomial, say g. The moment I have the sum and the product of roots of the unknown polynomial g, I can find out how it looks like. I know thus the unknown polynomial gx will look like k times x square minus sum of roots of this unknown polynomial. Sum of roots of this unknown polynomial is 28 by 9. And so you have minus 28 by 9 into x plus p, where p is the product of the roots of this unknown polynomial. Product of the roots is 1 by 3 of this unknown polynomial. And so this happens to be your polynomial g for any constant k. Because this k is not going to affect the roots of or the zeros of this polynomial. So this k can be anything. It will not disturb the functioning of this polynomial g. Understood? That is how we have dealt by just the concept of sum of roots, product of roots, and how does the general polynomial look like when you know the sum and the product of roots or the zeros of a polynomial. And that completes our entire sample paper discussion. We wind up with section D over here, and right now I am done with A, B, C and D, all 4 sections. You are advised to practice hard and revise all the concepts we have dealt with while solving the questions, because it's the ideas which are going to stay with you for a longer period of time, but that can only happen if you spend quality time with the questions and the concepts. Wish you all the best for your papers. Take care and bye-bye.